Hi guys, Vivek here, Blueberry Hill. So here we are. This is June 12th to about the 18th. A little bit of trim work. Took, it always takes longer than you think. We're doing this, I believe, was 3/4 by 1/4 inch trim. We stained it and put it up against the ceiling of the knotty pine. It looks great. Then we started doing the dividers between the containers. You see the where you see the structural parts of the containers down near the bottom of the wall. We're going to hide all that just to make it look nice and neat, and we're going to call that the header, whatever. We're going to put a full beam on there, but we had a lot of knotty pine left over, so we decided to use that, and it worked out pretty good. Anyway, it worked pretty good. I didn't film too much of the putting up the trim because that's kind of detail and slow going, so it took a few hours. Here I'm putting up the first ceiling fan from the main part of the living room. These are, I believe, like 6-foot fans, 6-blade, pretty easy to install. They just hang from a pivot, so they can do an angled ceiling, no problem. Very easy to wire up. The fun part was actually putting the remote under that box that you see at the ceiling. I did have to finagle that a little bit because everything is really tight against the ceiling. It's probably better if it was a flat ceiling, but it's not, so it is what it is. But here's me putting the fan blades on. So I didn't show you the wiring and all that stuff because that's kind of like, black wire on black wire, white wire on white wire, and that's how easy it was. The rest, just let it hang and put it up. It's got these ceiling fans have LED lights. Everything's remote controlled. As long as it gets power, everything works. So here I'm doing the trim out, all the wiring. The wires are pretty straightforward going in the box. They had about 6 wires to the remote, and that controls the light, the speed of the fan, and all that fun stuff. So button that up. Everything went really good, actually. Their programming was reading the instructions. They're from Taiwan. Ignore all the instructions, please. Do your own programming. If you're anywhere technically inclined, you can do your own remote control setup. So that's what I ended up doing. As soon as you power the fans up, you basically hold the power button on the remote, and it programs both of the remotes in the fans together, and they work in tandem. Fantastic. That is not what the instructions said. So aside from that, everything was good. Yeah, the hard part was putting the blades on, so that's how easy the install was. These are pretty quiet fans. When I turned them on, I'm not sure I showed you the video of them running, but you'll see them later on in other videos where they're actually spinning. But they're very quiet. They don't actually wobble at all, which I was pretty surprised at. We do have balancing kits that came with the kit, with the fan itself. I don't think I need to do anything. They just ran. So once they were programmed, they worked like a champ. I don't think we'll ever go to number 5 on the speed. 2 is really good. 1 is probably where we'll run most of it. But anyway, there they are. So here I'm trying to put the dining room light together. It's called a Sputnik. It's I believe 6 lights on it, or maybe 8, and all LED, of course. And we ended up actually having to order some extensions from the ceiling to go to 9.5 feet down from the ceiling, so the dining room would make sense. So we had to wait on that. But aside from that, that was the only problem. The rest was easy. Hey guys, Vivek here, Blueberry Hill. So June 16th, here we are, continuing to do whatever we can. I was trying to hang the dining room light. You might have seen time last week putting it together. It's called a Sputnik light. Looks like a sea mine, but anyway, it's pretty cool looking. We've got these fancy style light bulbs, LEDs actually, that go in there. Got those. We're waiting on a couple of 2-foot and 3-foot extensions. They're a day late, so I can't put that up yet. I'm going to switch gears, and we're going to start tackling the separation between the wall and the dining room and the kitchen. So we're going to start doing the what I call the header. It's not really a header, it's just a full beamish thing. I'm going to start putting that together. And we lucked out because we have enough knotty pine from the ceiling to actually do the wrap, and I think that'll tie everything nicely together. We were going to do some dark wood, and we have some, I don't want to say free wood, sitting there left over from the knotty ceiling, and we're going to use that to go horizontally on both ends of the living room. So we're going to do that. It's going to be a little more work on the fireplace wall because we have to drill into the metal screws to hold at least 2 or 3 of those, and then we use liquid nails for main stuff to hold
none of it's structural. It's just basically just a beam, you know, full looking beam thing. So it's just wood sitting there, not going to hold anything. Just for decor, I guess. But we'll have a shelf going in, fat one, 8 inches on the left side of the fireplace. I'll show you that later. And then turns out that they're 1x6 knotty pine planks. Turns out to be perfect on the fireplace wall. On the kitchen wall, I have to do a little extra work, but we're doing a little full. I keep saying the word full, but it's a little indented, hidden area for LED lights because we're going to span the back wall with. I call them mood lights, but they're kind of like ambient lights. They're not in your face. They're just a little bit of light. So those are going to go behind a little ledge that I'm going to make out of a white pine, which I went and got yesterday at whatever, $2.60 a foot or something stupid like that. 1x4s, very expensive. Anyway, good looking wood. It's sitting right there. You'll see me putting it up. I already stained it. We're going to put it up and then we're going to polyurethane it, wipe on poly. I have some of that satin, but we're going to do that after it's installed. So anyway, here I go. We're going to switch to time lapse and get that done.
So while waiting on the extensions for the dining room light, I put up all the trim on the separation between the containers. We used the knotty pine we had left over from the ceiling, which is great. We saved a few bucks there. I did have to buy some white pine to do what I'm doing right there, making a little ledge for an LED light. It'll be ambient light. It's going to hide behind the ledge and give us kind of, we can do different colors and stuff too. They offer them in like a million different colors. Just give it a little bit of mood lighting stuff. But anyway, so 1x4s, they're quite expensive. It's white pine, it looks really nice. I stained it as close to the color as I could to the knotty pine. Worked out pretty good. And just putting those up. And then you'll see me putting up some knotty pine. I'll call it a header. It's not a header, but I cut the groove part out, off, stained that part, and then basically tongue and groove the rest of it upwards. There was a little bit more finagling going on here because the size of all the tongue and groove didn't quite mix up, but with two tongue and groove boards, and then I used the 1x4s to gap where the ledge is, and you'll kind of see the whole idea behind that in a few minutes here. Anyway, just playing around. You see the light blue wall on the right. I put a I believe it's a 1x6 shelf on there, 1 inch overlap from the wall just to give it a little bit of depth. And here you see me putting up the final trim work on the tongue and groove part. So the 1x4s are what I bought the other day, stained them, and used as much tongue and groove as I could without killing the bank. I do end up cleaning, you can see me doing a rag up there, a towel. I clean them down, and then I actually, I stained all the 1x4s. I did not polyurethane them yet. I'll do that later. I do not film that. It's just putting coats on there. And here's a little ledge. It's a 1x2 little L-shaped ledge, if you will. And behind that will be the LED lights. So I think that'll look pretty cool. Here's the fun part, putting the tongue and groove, again with the groove part cut off, on the metal side. And I ended up I bought some special screws to go into metal. They were totally useless. They were a Trex screw, and I've used them before. Did not work. I actually ended up using, this is kind of weird, I ended up using the ones they use for hardy board for putting into a cement board. And they actually were just perfect to hit the metal. I pre-drilled a hole, and they had enough bite in the teeth to get into the metal, and it worked great. So anyway, that's what I did. And a little bit of liquid nails. So you'll see those little pucks you see where the blue tape is. I glued a couple of pucks there. I call them pucks. They're 2x4 pieces that I cut. Glued them up there, and then I'm nailing the second tongue and groove board to those. That dried from the day before. I didn't show you that, but it's, you know, take my word for it. They were dry. The nails set in there, and everything's good. Again, these are non-structural, so it doesn't really matter. It's just to hold everything flat. And then I use the liquid nails on the top part. That's a 3-inch piece. I took the tongue off. Of course, I stained it, etc. Used some more liquid nails, and then I shoved that piece into the tongue, the tongue part, and everything's secure and looks nice and tight. So pretty simple solution for I didn't pre-plan this, so it just kind of worked out real good. Liquid nails are the bomb if you're doing stuff like this. Again, I consider this non-structural, so it's just there to hold the wood in place, put it against the wall, and leave it alone. Last but not least, there's a little ledge right there. I put kind of a top little piece on there, trimmed it out. Next you'll see me doing the trim out on the other side. And then we actually come back. Angie and I were discussing whether we wanted to do the same thing to the right side of the fireplace, and we ended up doing that as well. So trim pieces made it kind of look nice and tight. Fairly easy to do. You can see there's a little ledge there. We'll see what we do with that. But anyway. But here, Angie and I decided to put the same treatment over here on this side of the wall. And it was pretty straightforward, same process. We used the screws for the hardy board, pre-drilled, shoved them in there, everything nice and tight. And then you see the pucks glued to the container. Second board goes up, and then the third board, which is a 3-inch piece with the tongue part cut out and stained. And a couple of trim pieces. I do trim out the edges on here, and then we'll eventually trim the left and right side of the fireplace and the wall with little larger boards painted the wall color, just to hide imperfections in the container, the metal parts, like we really need to do that. Anyway, that's it for this video. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. It'll be fun. Floors.